So good evening, everyone. I'm Prableen Kukreja, working as a PhD scholar at IIT Tirupati. So today's an extra class. So most of the syllabus I'll cover today with the help of the MCQs and all. Today we'll like excessively do the MCQs and all the way it will come in the exam, so that everything should be covered. Also the remaining syllabus also, as well as MCQ pattern also will be hands-on on that. You'll also get the hands-on on the MCQ pattern as well. So let's start. Is my screen visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So as always, so we'll start with though I'll also explain the concepts also, some concepts also side by side. And also after the class, I'll ask you what we should do in the next class. After classes get over, how can we ask doubt? Okay, I'll write my mail ID. You can ask the doubts there as well. And it's if you can mail me before Tuesday so that I can cover that particular topic. I'll discuss at the end of the class about that. Don't worry. So as always, it will be like when I'll read the question and MCQ, write the question number and then the option number. Oh, sorry. Wait a second. Just 1 minute. So which of the following best defines an autonomous system? A single router within a network, a logical portion of an IP network under one administration, a group of IP addresses on the internet, a set of DNS servers. Please mute yourself if you don't have any doubt. So yes. What about others? Please be active in today's class because it's very important. It's okay if you'll give the wrong answer as well. We can discuss every MCQ, or if the topic you are not getting, we'll discuss it after the class or in the next class. Tell me which topic it's difficult, which we are covering. We are covering now the after syllabus, after routing and all. Like this is autonomous system, now path vector routing, as we have already done the link state and distance vector. We have already completed. After that, we are doing with the MCQs. Like, what about others? What do others think about this? Which of the following best defines an autonomous system? Gopalji, please wait. We are on the question 1. Like when I'll read the question 2, then maybe I want that everyone should participate, but I think only you have given the answer. Yes, please, everyone, at least give the answers. So what is the answer is absolutely correct. The answer is B, a logical portion of an IP network under one administration. So what is an autonomous system? It is a group of IP network, as we have discussed in the last class also. Yes, absolutely correct, Likhit. That when it is under one administrative system, one rules and one of the administration is making the rules and policies, that is an autonomous system. Coming to the second question, which routing protocol is used to exchange information between the autonomous system? Is it RIP, OSPF, BGP, IGRP? One is between autonomous system. Yes, what is the answer? Second. Come on. Yes, yes, come on. Don't be silent at least. Okay. Why it's A? Two of you have answered A. Actually, BGP, if I talk about BGP, the answer is BGP. Why BGP? Because it's a path vector routing. We have already done distance vector routing and link state vector routing. The path vector routing is when we are exchanging routing information between different autonomous systems. Wait a second, maybe I have discussed about it in the last class. Okay. So we have distance vector routing, link state vector routing, as well as path vector routing. And BGP is a type of path vector routing. In path vector routing, what does it happen? That we are basically exchanging across the information between different autonomous systems. And BGP is a type of the protocol which is used in the path vector routing. Understood? Should I proceed?
Yes, madam.
So the answer is C. I'll mark here maybe. Here the answer was B. Which of the following is IGP, Interior Gateway Protocol? BGP and RIP, OSPF and RIP, BGP and OSPF, RIP and EIGRP. Yes, come on. What is the third answer? Yes, what about others? Only one have answered. Be quick because we have a lot of MCQs today and I want everyone should participate. This is just the second last class and the next class will be of the revision session. Just give a try. The answer is OSPF and RIP. Any idea whosoever has written B? Why B? If I talk about OSPF and RIP, it operates within an operating system. As we talked about inter and intra routing. Intra routing, we have distance vector routing as well as link state routing. Inter, we have path vector routing. Intra means within an AS and inter means between different AS. Intra, yes. So it means within an organization, we always say, or within an operating system, or within an autonomous system. So within an autonomous system, we have distance vector as well as link state. And the protocols which are used in distance vector and link state, they are OSPF and RIP. Whereas inter means between different autonomous system. The protocol which is used is that is BGP. That is why the answer here in the second is used to exchange information between autonomous system was BGP. And when it is in like intra, which means interior gateway protocol within an autonomous system, that is OSPF and RIP, because these are the protocol of distance vector as well as link state. Should we proceed? I think so. This concept is clear to you. Is it clear? What is the backbone area in the autonomous system used for? Storing DNS records, connecting all other area in the autonomous system, encrypting packet, hosting router for other organizations. Any idea? Yes, come on. What about others? Yes, come on. The backbone area, it's B. Basically, backbone area in autonomous system means it is connecting all areas inside an autonomous system to enable the routing, basically. So this is the backbone area, connecting all other autonomous systems. Like one autonomous system is getting connected with the other, basically to enable the routing. That is the backbone. BGP is classified as what type of protocol? Now only we discussed. Simple. Now only I have told you. This you should answer, everyone. Okay, whosoever has not read also, I think if you are attentive in the class, you can answer.
5C.
Please write in the chat, sir. Yes. Absolutely correct. Path vector. What is the primary purpose of BGP? To resolve MAC addresses, to exchange routing information between autonomous system, to calculate shortest path inside the LAN, to detect congestion inside the network. This also, if you'll think, you can answer. This also I have told you now only. The same question with variants, I'll say. With variations as asked. It's okay if you are answering incorrect, also give a try, think about it. Now only we have discussed. What is the primary purpose of BGP? As I told you, what is BGP? BGP is basically inter routing. So it is using exchanging the routing information between autonomous system, as Gopalji has said. Naveen, it's basically to exchange routing information between autonomous system. As we have discussed, it's inter-routing protocol. Which of the following is not a type of BGP neighbor? I'll discuss about it. So we have two types here. What do you think? IBGP, EBGP, RBGP, or none of the above? Which of the following is not a valid type? You have to answer that. Yes, come on. What about others? Give a try. Absolutely correct. It's C. So we have two valid, that is IBGP and EBGP. IBGP, basically it's internal BGP, which is called as, which is basically used within same autonomous system, basically for internal coordination. And external BGP, it's basically between different autonomous system. It is basically inter-domain routing, the main purpose of this BGP. Which transport protocol and port does BGP use? Though port, okay, if you don't know the port also, it's fine because it's a cramming question. But which protocol? At least, what do you think? Is it TCP? Is it UDP? Is it ICMP? So it's basically TCP only, as everyone has answered correctly. It's TCP, and the port number is 179 for the reliable connection. Though main part is, this is TCP port. Gopalji, this is TCP. Which transport protocol BGP used? What does AS path attribute in BGP specify? IP addresses in the route, cost of each walk, list of autonomous system, the route traverse, or geographical location. What about others? What do others think? So basically, he's correct. It's basically list of all autonomous system, the route traverse. If I talk about one more thing, I'll keep on giving some pointers as well so that you can understand the concept as well. If I talk about path vector routing and distance vector routing, the difference is that path vector routing also give us the whole the path and everything. If I say, and in the distance vector routing, the only the next hop is given to us. So AS path is basically it's giving us the list of all the autonomous system the route must pass through. That is basically AS path. Which BGP message is used to establish a session, update, keep hello, notification, or open? These are simple question only. By the name only you can get it. It's simple only by the name only. Again, I'll say by the name only you can get it. For establishing the session, absolutely correct, Naveen. It's 10D, open. Which type of, it's not C, we'll come to it. Notification also, maybe there'll be an answer for one of them. Which type of message is used to detect BGP peer reachability? Open, acknowledgement, keep alive, or ping. Okay, open is not there because we know that open is used to establish a session. What about others? What do you think? 11th. The answer is keep alive here. Basically, the keep alive messages, they are used to keep, I'll say keep the session alive. So they are used to detect that whether it's reachable or not, keeping the session alive. Which message is sent when an error occurs in the BGP session? Now, what do you think? Open is not there, keep alive is not there. What do you think the answer should be? If the error is detected. 12th, come on. Are you liking this MCQ session?
Yeah, sure, madam. The thing is, I have not gone through this content, BGP, but
Okay,
I'm making a wild guesses. So that's
it's fine. It's fine. Actually, I haven't also explained because of the lack of the time. So I thought that okay, MCQs may help you by getting the concept as well.
but I think we know that the BGP is the gateway, is the protocol between ISPs, right? Huge ISP is a. Can we say ISP is an autonomous domain?
Uh, yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. It's notification. If you guys haven't gone to the concept also, okay, let's try. If you don't, if you want that some concept should be discussed in the other next class, so we'll discuss that concept in detail. Which of the following is a characteristic of stub AS? Stub we have discussed in the last class. What is stub? Stub, the answer is here. C. If I call about stub AS, we have discussed that in last class also. It connects to only one other AS and carries only the local traffic. So it has a single connection to one AS, that is stub AS. Which BGP path attribute must be recognized and sent in every update message? Well-known discretionary, optional transitive, well-known mandatory, optional non-transitive. So the answer is here C, well-known mandatory attributes. It must be sent in every update here. What is BGP confederation used for? I think there was a slide as well of this BGP confederation. Any idea? 15th.
B15B.
So I'll tell you. If it's fine if you guys haven't gone, because I have also not explained the concepts and all of these, it's fine. I'll side by side keep on explaining the concepts. Basically, BGP confederation is like we have a single autonomous system representative of the large autonomous system. So of the large network, of the large autonomous systems, like so many, we have a single representative, single AS is representing the full mesh network. So BGP confederation is used to avoid full mesh requirement in the large network, so that one autonomous system can basically represent the full network or many autonomous system, the large autonomous system. So that is basically BGP confederation. Which of the following is not a BGP path attribute category? So well-known mandatory, we have discussed. What is well-known mandatory? Which is basically sent in every update. Optional conditional, optional non-transitive, or well-known discretionary. Basically, optional conditional is not a valid category. Which of the following is true about OSPF? Now I want this one, you should answer. Okay, we discussed that BGP is a type of path vector routing. What is the OSPF? Is it a distance vector routing, or it is a link state advertisement, or it floods update across the entire network, or it uses TCP for the? Which protocol it is? It is distance vector or link state vector? Path vector, we know it is not, because path vector routing is basically, we have discussed BGP. We know that RIP or OSPF, one of them is distance vector, one of them is link state. So basically, it's basically link state. Like RIP is distance vector routing. It is link state advertisement or link state routing, the OSPF one, and the path vector BGP is the path vector routing protocol. Clear? Should we proceed? So which link type in OS connects routers to stub network? The name is suggesting the answer as well. Stub link. Basically, stub link connects routers to the end networks, I'll say, because there are no further routers. What is stub? Again, I'll come to that. What is stub? Which is connected to only one autonomous system, not any else. Which metric does OSPF consider in its routing decisions? Maybe when I'll go to the next MCQs, I'll discuss the gist of them. Which metric does the OSPF consider Which metric does OSPF consider in its routing decision? Number of hops, packet loss, type of service, TTL values. So basically, OSPF uses type of service metrics like round trip time, reliability, and all. What is NLRI in BGP? Yes, come on, try at least. NLRI stands for Network Layer Reachability Information. So if I talk about network layer reachability information, it means what is NLRI? It is a set of routes in prefix or length format. Like how we can basically reach there. Which session type needs IGP help for which BGP session which BGP session type usually requires an IGP to help locate peers? Now think about it. I have told you that there are two type of BGP sessions. One is eBGP, one is iBGP. This we have discussed now only. What is iBGP and what is eBGP? iBGP is within, and eBGP is exterior, external. So it is. I have written here as well. Coming to this, within the same and between different autonomous system. Now, what is the question? Again, let's read. Which BGP session type usually requires an IGP to help locate peers? What do you think? Think logically. It's okay if you haven't gone through the videos or presentation. Think about it. Locate peers. Locate peers mean locate neighbors. Locate neighbors means is it within or is it different autonomous system? If it's different, then we have eBGP. If it's within, then we have iBGP. What about others? Simple one only. It's basically iBGP. As the name suggests, it locates peers, which means within an autonomous system only, which means iBGP. This is not any type of ABGP. So we have two options only left, eBGP or iBGP. In BGP, what prevents routing loops? So basically, one more like in distance vector routing. And now this is path vector routing BGP. Path vector routing, we don't have loops, which means in BGP, we don't have loops. That is an advantage over distance vector routing. Why we don't have loops? Because what does AS path does? We have AS path all over the, here we have only next hop. Here we are giving the path. Here it is checking that whether it's like basically the way the source itself is repeating or not. If the source itself is repeating, which means there is a loop. And so by checking with the AS path, we can know that there is no loop. So it is basically preventing routing loops, AS path checking. And we know that what is AS path? So the whole route, the whole path is basically listed by the AS path. I hope so this BGP and this concept is clear to you. Is it clear by the MCQs or not? I'll come to some things. I'll discuss in short. If I talk about path vector routing, like in distance vector routing, we were sharing the cost or the distance. Here we are sharing the whole path here. Here, one more thing is there. As I told you, we are detecting and avoiding loops here. And distance vector routing is destination plus cost. It is destination plus AS path. Loop prevention is there. There the loop prevention was not there. And that was link state and they are inter, whereas path vector is intra. It runs between the autonomous system. And how it is preventing the loop? By AS path. How by AS path? If an autonomous system sees its own AS number, the own number, which means I myself is in the path, that means the cycle is there. If it sees that AS number, then it basically says that, okay, there is a cycle and it prevents the cycle. It doesn't allow its own number there. Other thing was what we discussed, BGP pairing. Which is IBGP, eBGP. External BGP, internal BGP. Which is between different AS, and it was within same AS. Which means there is an internal coordination and there is interdomain. And that's it. Maybe these things we have covered in this basically, and the other things like the simple that notification and all, or how to open it and all, we have covered in this MCQs. Should we move ahead? Maybe I'll first explain this control plane, data plane and all. Then I'll come to this MCQ so that you can, I was thinking only to do the MCQs, but still maybe you haven't watched the videos or the slides. So let's have just a short explanation of them. So we have like, if I talk about routing, like we have control plane and data plane. What is this control plane? Control plane, I'll say it is the brain of the router in layman terms. What is data plane? If I have to understand, if you have to understand, think whenever the question comes, think that, okay, whatever the brain is doing, that is the work of the control plane. And now, what is data plane?
The actual message is being sent.
Yes, forwarded. Yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely. So basically, what is data plane? The actual message is sent. Can I say it is like a muscle of the router? Forwarding only? In layman words, like so that you can think, like you can relate it with, like how to intuitively relate it with this. So, what are the responsibility of the control plane? I'm going through it so that you can answer the MCQs. I was earlier thinking, okay, I'll go through these MCQs only, but it was so one-way session. So let's go through this. So responsibilities of the control plane, I can say runs routing protocols like BGP, OSPF, RIP and all. It builds and maintains the routing table. It third one, I can say decides what path basically to use to reach the destination. Basically, routing table only. And then it pushes forward the information to data plane. What is data plane? As he said, responsible for forwarding the individual packets. So it receives from input interface, receive the packet from input interface, looks into FIB. I'm using this word so that you can get to know this is forwarding information base, which is derived from routing table. So that to know where to forward and send to. Basically what it is doing, output interface, looking it in the routing table, input is receiving the input, looking at the output table, where to send and sending the packet. What is the difference between control plane and data plane? If I say,
Madam, one question. This concept of control and data plane is only for SDN, right? But in normal routers, that is not there, right? In normal routers, it's only in SDN you have the.
SDN basically we separate control plane and data plane.
For example, normal routers, all routers we see around in installation, do they follow the same concept?
Yes. They have control plane and data plane. What I think so, but that separation is not there. What I think so.
Okay. In SDN, there is a clear separation.
Clear separation.
Okay.
Though the concepts are same, but the clear separation is made by the SDN.
Okay.
Okay. Where were we? Control plane as well as the data plane. So control plane, basically what it is doing, it is deciding where to send the packet. In easy words, and it is actually sending. If I say control plane, it's slow because obviously it has to decide. It's way faster. Protocols, obviously that OSPF, RIP, and that will be the other one, TCM, and look, I'll come to that. And tables used here, this is routing information base, RIB, sorry, routing information base. And this is FIB, as I have used also, forwarding information base. These are the table used here. I hope so this concept is clear to you. Now we can discuss about the MCQs here. Somewhat I have explained you about this. I was hoping that you might have seen the videos and we can answer it. So what are the two basic operations of router? Simple question. Question number 1, write the question number as well as the MCQ number. Absolutely correct. Constructing the routing and forwarding the packets. So the router builds the routing table and forwards the packet based on it. Which plane is responsible for constructing the routing table? Now only we have discussed. Yes, come on. What about others? Now only we have discussed. Come on. It's basically, absolutely correct. It's basically control plane, basically used for constructing the routing table. Which plane is handles the actual forwarding? These are the simple, straightforward questions. Now, what we have done? Which plane handles the actual forwarding of the packets? Again, the simple one, the straightforward question. Now only we have done. Yes, yes. Come on, others also. Absolutely correct. It's 3D. Which generation of router architecture introduced software-defined routing? What do you think? It's basically fifth generation. So fifth generation, which is today's, it includes SDN based routing. What does TCM stands for? Yes. What about others? He is absolutely correct. This is ternary content addressable memory.
Madam, can you explain what is a ternary means?
Ternary, like if I talk about ternary content addressable memory, it is basically a specialized memory, I'll say, which is used for fast routing. It's supporting like don't if I'll say don't care and all, like when we don't have anything matching, also we have the don't care, the special symbols here as well. Is it clear? So basically the fast memory, which in our normal RAM and all, we are not doing content. We are not searching by content. If I talk about CAM, that is here, we are searching by content. Content addressable memory means.
Yeah, yes, sir. Content addressable memory is a concept in hardware. We understand. In the reference to networks, that memory is the word. Okay, just curious.
Okay, you are saying what is the meaning of ternary?
Yeah, initially I thought it is spelling mistake, temporary, but I know.
Ternary means I'm not getting
Ternary means
three. Ternary means three. Basically, here we have three symbols: 0, 1, and don't care. If I talk about binary, binary means 0 and 1 we are having. Here we are having the special symbol also, that is a wildcard symbol for flexible matching, I'll say.
Okay.
Like suppose I have 0, 1, X. So it can be 0, 1, 0 as well and 0, 1, 1 as well. Got it?
Okay, man.
So it is used for it's having, I'll say, it's wildcard symbol, or I'll say don't care symbol, we say, so that and ternary here, ternary English word, we means that three basically. So we are having three symbols here, so that's why we are referring to as ternary. Should we proceed? Which component does the actual per packet forwarding in a high performance router? Central CPU, interface cards, disk drive, or routing daemon? Maybe I'll explain this also. What do you guys think? So basically, I'll come to each and every option. CPU, obviously it runs the control plane that we know, okay, because it is maintaining the routing information base, building the rules and all. But if I talk about forwarding and all, it will be too slow for the CPU thing. And it is not suitable for high performance. I mean to say, it's not suitable for high performance, high speed packet forwarding, if I talk about CPUs. Now, coming to interface cards, the answer is actually the interface cards, or I'll say network processor card. So it is connected to router ports, and it actually performs forwarding based on FIB, forwarding information base we have now only done, and TCAM. Now only we saw that what is this TCAM. So it I'll say it works in distributed parallel forwarding fashion. And disk drive, as you know, it has nothing to do with forwarding packets and routing them on. It is a part of control plane, I'll say, but it updates the RIB, but forwarding, it has no role for the forwarding thing. So that's why the answer is here, the interface cards. What does router do when its powers on? Only forwards the packets and power off, construct routing table and forwards packets repeatedly, wait for admin's command. What do you guys think? What do you think? If it's on, it will off it, or it will keep on doing it? Absolutely correct, Gopalji. It constructs the routing table and forwards the packet repeatedly. So the router continuously building the routes and forward the packet until it is off, basically. What is the role of route processor? Forward packets, format packets, maintain routing protocol and construct routing table, schedule packets for QoS. Naveen, you were also right. Now coming to 8th question. What about others? Absolutely correct, Gopalji. So basically, the route processor, it maintains the routing protocol and constructs the routing table. It runs the routing algorithms like OSPF and RIP. So, which is maintained in software and holds all routing entries. I think I missed one. Sorry. Which structure maps input interfaces to output interfaces in data plane? Simple. Think. We have now only done input to output interface. I have explained you the whole method. What is it? Come on. You know the answer if you have listened.
Yeah, 9A.
No. It's B. C is basic. So it's like now only we have done that. What is FIB or what is, I'll say, data plane? It's taking the input, forwarding to output. Maps input to output interface in data plane. Which is maintained in software and hold all routing entries.
PCAM.
It's 10th question.
Oh, sorry.
That is a type of memory TCM, but this is actually RIB, control plane, which is in it is RIB is managed by the control plane. It is used to hold all the routing entries. It will tell where to route and all. And FIB basically data coming from the a packet coming from the input, it will basically forward to output. Which of the following is faster for lookups? Now only we have discussed about it. Yes, come on. What about others? It's actually TCM. Now only we discussed ternary content addressable memory. It is faster because it searches by the content. What happens when a packet doesn't find a matching entry in FIB? It's interesting. Now what should it do? Packet is forward blindly. Packet is dropped or referred to control plane. Packet is encrypted. Packet is duplicated. What do you think? Logically, what should be done? Who is handling the where the packet should be routed? What about others? Absolutely correct. 12th B. So whenever the packet is not found, either the packet is dropped or it is referred to the control plane, because it's the duty of the control plane to tell where it should be routed. What does CM do differently from RAM? Stores data sequentially, access data by address, searches by content, encrypts packet. You should know this answer. Absolutely correct. Searches by content. Which CLI command is used to view IP routes in Linux? Basically, it's route -n. So it is used to view IP routes. Maybe these commands you might not know. Which CLI command is used to add new route? Simple. IP route add. In router, what enables store and forward functionalities and interface? What do you think? Store and forward. The name, what is the name suggesting? What should be the memory? Which memory is doing store and forward? We have discussed about it many times. Store and forward. Come on. Absolutely correct, Gopalji. It's buffer. Yes, Naveen, you are also correct. It's buffer memory. Buffer, what does buffer do? Temporarily hold the packet before forwarding and then enable store and forward. Which generation of the routers introduced distributed architecture? So it's a cramming question only. So basically, third generation, I'll say, to improve the scalability and to introduces the distributed architecture. What does X mean in TCM match? I've told you now only. This you should answer. Cross or X, what does it mean? Absolutely correct. It's don't care or wildcard, which means that it will allow matching multiple entries. Like I have written 10X, it may be 101 or 100. So that is basically what's the difference between RIB and FIB. So I haven't told you this difference. Maybe think about it. RIB we know it's for control plane. FIB we know that it's for data plane forwarding. RIB is like brain. FIB is just for forwarding. So soft hardware, what do you think? So basically RIB, it's a full routing table. It's a software. And if I say about FIB, it's like it's hardware optimized. So the answer is C here. Yes, absolutely correct, Gopalji. What Linux command helps trace a packet's route to a destination? What do you think? The name suggests trace route. Coming to the next topic, that is SDN. Maybe I'll give you just the overview of SDN also, so that again it will be helpful for you in solving the MCQs. SDN architecture, that is software defined network. I'll say it is a paradigm where control plane is separated from the data plane. That is what we said. But as he was also asking earlier, there was no control plane or data plane. No, there was, but control plus forwarding, I'll say they were embedded together. But here, control logic is different, and though it wasn't separated earlier, SDN used to separate this paradigm, I'll say. And you know about control plane and data plane. So if I talk about in easy words, it has 3 layers. One is the application layer, SDN. One is control plane, and one is data plane. Data plane, we know it's like basically dumb switches, we'll say, who are getting the instructions from the control plane. Control plane, we know it is the control brain of the network, I'll say. And application layer, network applications like the routing and all, interfaces and all, that is basically. And if I talk about traditional versus SDN, obviously traditional, they were highly tightly coupled, basically control plane plus data plane. Here they are separated. I'll write here. And in traditional networks, I'll say vendor lock-in means vendor's part. It was vendor lock-in, basically, which cannot be changed. It was high, and here it is low. And if I talk about programmability, it was hard because of vendor locked in high, and here it's easy, which because we have more control over it. And here we have I'll say different. The main thing is the control plane as and different data plane as well. Uh, if I talk about SDN messages, message type, like we have some messages like packet in, flow mode, and packet out. What does these messages mean? What is the purpose? Packet in means switch, basically, which is in data plane, a dumb switch. It is going giving the packet to controller, because we have already done an MCQ. If there is no match, then it is sent to a controller because it was no match. So that is packet in message is sent. Flow mode means controller to switch. I'll say that is basically add rule. Basically add it. If we are simply forwarding the packet, the controller, the main part is controller will tell, okay, where to forward it. That is add rule, that is flow mode. Packet out, controller to switch. Again, it is send this packet out. If I talk about advantages, obviously now programmability is easier. We can write, we can modify it more, and it is more secure, I'll say. New ideas can be tested here. Full visibility is here and coordination is here, and standard APIs and all are used.
Madam, one question. For example, the traditional routers, let us say Cisco routers, and we buy, there everything is hardware embedded, right? All these algorithms, we cannot change the algorithms. Whereas SDN is only software, right? It's only software product.
SDN here we can change. That is the main advantage. That here it's not like vendor logged in. I mean to say here there can be the changes are easy. The programmability is easy. Whereas the traditional routers, the programmability obviously the vendors has done so much of the things that was like hardwired. Like, or I'll say it was like we can't change the things as you are saying.
Okay. That means one can program, one can write our own routing algorithms.
Yes, here, yes. So now coming after this summarized version of SDN, now coming to the MCQs. Hope so some of the MCQs it might help you. What does SDN stand for? Simple question. Come on. What about others? Yes, Fatima, Likit, Naveen, Vishwa. Absolutely correct. Software defined network. What is the main purpose of SDN? Embedding software and hardware together using for centralized switches, separating control plane and data plane, encrypting all routing data. This is also now only I have told you.
Madam, just one general question. This reminds me of analogy in signal processing, like filters. Once upon a time, filters were hardware devices, like analog filters, which are now with the digital, the filters are programmable. Okay, it reminds me similar concept, right?
Yes.
Like software defined radio, you say that you can without using any hardware, you can by changing the program, you can change the frequencies, you can change the filters, everything. Okay. Similar concept. Yeah. Software defined radio. Yeah. Similar concept.
So yes. One more thing, like you were saying software defined, but okay, I have a question. Is it totally a software?
No, the algorithm is software, but ultimately the delivery has to happen through hardware only.
Because, or I can say control plane is, yes, it is moved to software, but data plane obviously it's still in hardware, the forwarding and all.
Yes, ultimately the physical link is hardware only, right? Okay. The physical link, the state transitions and the modem is all complete hardware. Yeah.
So control plane, I can say it has shifted to software. Can
yes.
Okay, separating. Yes, absolutely correct. Separating control plane and data plane. In SDN, who writes the control logic?
3C.
What about others? Now only we were discussing like, okay, earlier it was like hard code by the vendors and all. It was difficult to change, but SDN, the control logic is easier to change. Obviously, the customers can change it or network administrator. What is the role of data plane? Again, the same question which was asked earlier also. Same thing, control plane, data plane, yes. to process DNS queries, to log traffic, to forward packets, to store routing tables. Very easy. If you guys are listening, this question is very easy. You should answer it. Absolutely correct, to forward the packets. What is the control plane responsible for? Again, the same question. Encrypting traffic, packet forwarding, taking all routing decision, filtering spam packets. Yes, come on. The same questions. I think it's repeating. Taking all routing decisions. Absolutely correct, Likhit and Gopalji. In traditional routers, how are the control planes and data planes designed? Separated, virtualized, baked in, and proprietary, installed via App Store. What about others? This is also very easy. Just a question, I'll say styling is different, or the answer is obviously the same for everyone. Baked in and proprietary control plane, and that is the only part of the SDN that it is basically uh, separating the control plane and data plane. What is the major drawback of traditional network? Yes, come on.
7C.
This is also easy one. This is also now we have discussed. What about others? Come on, Fatima, Likhit, Naveen, Vishwa. What do you guys think? It's 7th C. Absolutely correct, Gopalji. No standardization, vendor locked. That was the major drawback. But here now we can do programming and all very easily. What does SDN solve by separating control plane and data plane? Again, the same type of questions are asked.
8C.
Absolutely correct. Vendor dependency. Though I'll say that like we can use any vendor's hardware, but we can have write our own logic here. What is central coordinator in SDN network? Logic. What is the central controller in SDN network? Where are all logics residing in? What about others? The SDN controller. What do switches in SDN require to function? Internal logic, route processor, instructions from controller, or routing protocol. Absolutely correct, Gopalji. I want others should also answer. It's instruction from controller. So switches, as in the very start only I told that they are dumb, they are in the data plane. Whatever the controller is instructing them, that is what they're following. What happens if switch in SDN receives a packet with no matching rule? Again, the same question. Though it should be, it can be A as well as it can be B as well as. Uh, like, because the packet in, as we have done, what is packet in? Let's see again. When there is no match, then switch is basically sending it to controller. That is what is packet in. So, if what if switch in SDN receives a packet with no matching rule, then it is sending it to controller. Now you can see this 12th question. That's simple only. What is packet in packet in SDN? A request sent to controller for instructions. Basically, if the packet they don't know where to send, the controller then the controller decides, or I'll say it notifies the controller that I don't know, switch don't know where to send it. So because it is an unknown flow, so it sends to controller. What happens after the controller receives the packet and okay, the packet is sent to the controller. Now what does controller do?
Discards the packet.
What about others? 13th, what does controller do? Yes, Naveen, you are right. Basically, Gopalji, it installs the flow rule. Obviously, the controller will tell where to basically send the packet. So it will install the flow rule. The controller decide what to do and set up a rule basically in the switch FIB. What is packet out? An outgoing packet from the switch. The controller's instruction to forward a packet. The backup packet or a timeout error. Yes, absolutely correct. The controller's instruction to forward a packet. What is the result after a flow rule is installed at the switch? Absolutely correct. All future packets basically are forwarded using this rule. In SDN, what is the switch behavior when there is a table hit? It queries controller, it forwards packet immediately, it drops the packet, it locks the packet. Simple questions only.
16B.
What about others? Yes, absolutely correct. As we have done, switch is basically dumb. And if there is a table hit, which means it is in the table, so it will basically forward it. What's one major advantage of SDN? Yes.
17B.
I'll come in a minute. Just go through the other questions. I'll come in a minute. Yes, where were we? What's the one major advantage of SDN? Yes, it's a community driven. What type of devices Zodiac affects? I think this was mentioned in the slide only. So can you tell? It is an example of which type? Router, SDN switch, firewall, or VPN concentrator? Yes, absolutely correct, Naveen. It's SDN switch. In SDN, how long does the switch buffer a packet after a table miss? Until the network resets, until controller sends a route rule, only 5 seconds, it doesn't buffer. What do you think? What is switch? Switch is dumb. Now think about the answer. I've given you a hint. Data plane switches dumb. What will it do? Absolutely correct, Gopalji. It will until the controller sends the rule. So what do I mean, Naveen, by it is dumb? Whatever the controller will send a rule, then only that only it will do. How long does the switch buffer? Until a controller will send a rule. In SDN, who install flow rules? Easy only. What about others? Yes, absolutely correct. The controller. This is the same only. Which protocol is commonly used to communicate between SDN controller and switches? Now, what are they saying? There is a controller, there are switches, data plane, control plane, which is the protocol. It's the whole slides are on this protocol only. RIP, we know it's not there. OSPF, we know it's not there.
Open flow. Yeah.
So we know SNMP is for the network management. So what's left? Open flow only. If you don't know the answers, then try to eliminate the answers. Which one is not an which of the following is not an SDN controller? So there are different type of SDN controllers. If I say okay, if I say the TCP dump, the answer is TCP dump. It is basically a packet analyzer. It's not an SDN controller. Whereas ONOS, Mastro, Rio, they are basically the SDN controllers. The SDN architecture separates. The simple question again and again the same question. Come on, why are you not answering? Simple. I want everyone to answer this. SDN architecture separates. I am unable to see the chat or you guys are not answering. Yes. Basically data plane and control plane. Open flow was originated by, any idea? Anyone? So basically open flow was originally developed by the Stanford, I'll say. And basically there was a program which introduced open flow to decouple, I'll say it was to decouple or to I'll say decouple the rule from forwarding in the switches to separate them and all. That was basically, in simple words, it was basically developed by the Stanford. Which layer does open flow operate on? Simple only. It's basically controller, yes, Naveen, controller data plane interface. Actually, it shouldn't be layer. That's why maybe you got confused. Open flow rule resides in kernel buffer, flow table, routing table, NAT table. Try to eliminate the answers. Open flow is basically, what is open flow? Then think of whether it's a NAT table, routing table, flow table, and kernel buffer. Interface between control plane and data plane. It's not in routing table, Naveen. NAT table, obviously, NAT here, there is no role. Buffer, it's not a buffer. Basically, it's a flow table. Flow table stores the rules which are used by the switches, I'll say, to forward or drop the packets based on the header fields. The controller and switch communicates over UDP, ICMP, SSL, or TCP, or HTTP.
Fine.
Yes, ninth. What about others? Yes, Naveen. Yes, absolutely correct. So basically, they're transmitted over secure TCP channels. OpenFlow allow controllers to only read data, add or remove flow entries, reboot switches, or change IP addresses. Absolutely correct. Add or remove the flow entries. Which of the following is valid match field in OpenFlow flow table? DNS type, blank ID, SSID, ARP opcode. What do you think? So basically, if I talk about OpenFlow match fields, it includes IP addresses, MAC addresses, TCP, UDP port number, basically TCP ports, and VLAN ID. I'll come to VLAN and all, VLAN, VLAN and all. I'll come to that. So basically, that is a valid open field match includes. Which of this is not OpenFlow table action? Drop packet, forward to port, modify header, or block website. So what can OpenFlow do? Think about it. Can it drop packet? Can it forward them? Can it modify the header? Can it block the website?
Block website 12D.
Write in the chat. Absolutely correct. So obviously it cannot block website. What does OpenFlow use to monitor? What does OpenFlow use to monitor flow activity? Counters, ping packets, log files, or timer ticks? The answer is basically counters. Basically, flow activity monitoring method. It includes the counters. What does it do? It includes packet and byte counter for each flow entry. So whenever there is a flow entry, there is a counter which will count the packet and byte, like bytes basically. Which protocol fields can OpenFlow match on? IP source and TCP port, browser type, domain name, session cookie. Now only I told you that OpenFlow protocol fields, which means which field is used for matching incoming packet against the rules, basically flow rules. Yes, absolutely correct, Gopalji. It's IP source and TCP port. In OpenFlow, rule priority is used to. The name suggests priority rule. What can be used to? What can be the use of this rule priority?
15C. 15C.
Actually, it's B. Break ties when matching rules. Whenever there is a priority, what it ensures that when multiple rules are matching, when multiple rules are matching, one with the higher priorities that is basically chosen. So that is why break ties when multiple rules match. Which open flow message establishes a version between switch and controller? So now we know that switch and controller, open flow is the protocol used to basically interface, used to basically have, it is an interface basically used to connect the switch and controller. Which message will establish a connection? What can be the first message? Simple. What can be this first message? In TCP also the same message. The first one. Absolutely correct, Naveen. It's 6B, 16B. Hello. To retrieve features from a switch, controller sends a feature request, config request, flow modifier, echo. As the name suggests, it's feature request. Controller sends feature request basically to understand the capabilities of the switch. What kind of message are used to check connection liveliness? Yes, it's echo basically. Absolutely correct. Echo request and echo reply messages are used to check whether the TCP connection is alive. Which of this is and these is an asynchronous message in open flow? The answer is port status. Basically, switches are sending the asynchronous messages, I'll say like port status, to inform the controllers whatever the changes are there. To fetch traffic related statistics from switch, the controller sends. The name is suggesting the answer. The question in the question also, you can see the answer only. Sometimes in the question only the answer is hidden. So these are all the messages, only these MCQs. The main concept was that only, which we have done in the previous MCQs. It's basically flow stats request, as the name is suggesting. Which tool is used to emulate SDN topologies? The answer is Mininet. Mininet basically it allows virtual emulation of SDN networks. Which command starts a single switch with 3 hosts in Mininet? Any idea? The answer is B, MN -TOPO single 3. This command basically it creates one switch which is connected to 3 hosts. Which virtual component simulates open flow switches in Mininet? So basically it's open V switch. I'll say it is widely used in switch, like in SDN emulation here. Which command connects a Mininet network to remote controller? Maybe these commands that are not that much important, but still it's B. That's why I'm telling you. Basically what it is doing, it is connecting the emulated like topology to a remote controller. So that's why controller is equal to remote. And which Linux kernel feature supports network namespaces used by Mininet? It's virtual namespace. What is the benefit of OpenFlow? Static routing, custom packet forwarding logic, closed. Hardware design, hardware specific programming. Now I want this one to answer. You should answer. 26B. Absolutely correct, Gopalji. 26B. Custom packet, because we can change it, we can program it ourselves. Bob wants to define his own forwarding rules. What makes this possible in STM? Absolutely correct. Controller API. What about others? At least try. Yes, Naveen, you were trying earlier. Yes, come on. Yes, Naveen, correct. So OpenFlow supports packet forwarding based on application layer info, header field matching, kernel stack, or DNS request. I mentioned somewhere the answer as well. Absolutely correct, Gopalji. It's header field matching. There only we have the fields like IP or MAC addresses, ports, and VLAN tags. Elias and Bob can have separate forwarding logic because OpenFlow supports VLAN. OpenFlow is per user. SDN support programmable control panel planes, or Ethernet tagging is enabled. What do you think? Simple answer only. Absolutely correct. SDN support programmable control planes. Just a minute. Solve this and come. Just a minute. Yes. Which of the following is not typically modified at flow table entry? TCP port, IP addresses, host name, or MAC addresses? So basically the answer is C, host name. Flow tables basically don't use this host names. They match on low level network fields only. Which socket type is used for connection oriented communication? This you know, I think. This you all should answer. We all should answer this. Connection oriented. Whole networks courses now. Naveen, connection oriented. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely TCP. I want everyone should answer. This was simple. A TCP server using select allows forking per connection, handling multiple connection without threads, faster sockets, or secure encryption. Naveen, can you write the question number as well? So, handling multiple connections without thread. Here, what we are doing is the select command basically checks multiple socket descriptors for input output readiness, and it basically checks handles multiple connections. Which tool is widely used to inspect packets for learning networks? Again, there is a description of this tool in whole detail in the slides and in the video lectures.
I see.
Basically, Wireshark, it is a graphical user interface tool for like traffic capturing, analysis, and all inspecting packets. What's the challenge in learning real networks? High speed, limited accessibility, over simulation, or DNS misconfiguration?
Yeah, 34. Yeah.
What about others?
No. Limited access. 34B.
Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
Ah,
Now you're correct. Basically,
ah,
limited accessibility. Obviously, real setups, it may be expensive or sometimes restricted. Hence, the use of emulators like we have done Mininet, they can be used. Emulated networks solve the issue in real hardware latency, limited access to physical network, high throughput, real IP addressing. The same answer, the same.
Madam, I thought high speed, simply thinking that computer simulations, the packets move at a high speed. We go in a slow single step mode to slow down through software, through algorithms. That's what I thought intuitively. My intuitive guess, high speed initially.
Okay. But obviously, it's like limited accessibility. The challenge when we are learning the real networks, so we can inspect the packets using the wire shaft and all. But the real hardware and all for the experimentation, like real networks, sometimes it's restricted, sometimes it's not available and all. That's the main issue. Emulated networks solve obviously limited access to the physical networks. Which two sublayer comprise? Now coming to data link layer. Which two sublayers comprise the data link layer? Easy only. Two sublayers are in the data link layer. Come on. What about others? MAC and logical link control. Which IEEE 802 standard corresponds to Ethernet using CSMA/CD. I'll come to this CSMA/CD, don't worry. Maybe we'll cover with the MCQs as well.
2C.
So basically, data link layer is divided into logical link control as well as MAC, medium access control. So this is Wi-Fi 1, 2C. Ethernet standard, if I talk CSMA/CD, that is 802.3. What is the main role of LLC layer? Now you'll come to know what is logical link control, what is MAC and all, if you don't know. Encapsulate packets for routing, provide addressing and error like correction, provide an interface to network layer and manage flow or error control, and encode or decode the physical. Yes, come on everyone. These are very simple questions based on data link layer. So,
Oh, sorry.
yes, the answer is basically C. It provides an interface to the network layer and manage flow and error control. Which of the following service is not provided by LLC? Can I say routing? Routing is the role of network layer, not the data link layer. So IP routing, simple. What is the primary function of MAC protocol?
5B.
Absolutely correct. Governs access to transmission medium. So medium And as the name suggests, access control protocol. Basically, it is governing access to the transmission medium. MAC will come in detail about this. Which MAC technique is more efficient under light load and bursty traffic? Though my research is also based on this MAC control, I'll tell you now only after this answer. The answer is contention. So my research is also based on this contention-based MAC protocol in integrating with machine learning, basically. So contention, basically, this is a technique when we have a bursty transmission. I'll come to that also in detail. What is contention and all? Like if more than one packet is transmitting, then how to how it will behave and all, which packet will contend, which packet will go, I mean to say, that is all this contention means. What does CSMS CD stand for? Very easy question. What about others? Absolutely correct, Gopalji. And Naveen also, you are correct. Carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. Is CSMA CD, what is jam signal used for? I'm going to hint something like what is basically done. Yes, absolutely correct. To notify that there is all nodes of that there is a collision. What does the worst case collision detection time in CSMA CD? What can be the worst case when the collision is detected? We know transmission time is when we are transferring to the link. Propagation time is when the packet is going and when it is going and coming. That is propagation. This whole link is basically when it is going from source to destination. That is propagation time. Now, what can be the worst case? Obviously, twice the end-to-end propagation delay. In token passing, what allows a station to transmit?
Yeah, 10B.
Yes, absolutely correct. Only the station with the token can transmit, like ensuring that there is an orderly access in the shared network. Which topology is used for token ring network? Now you should answer, I think, everyone.
This is intuitive.
Yes, everyone. The answer is itself in the question. Are you guys listening? Yes, absolutely correct, Naveen and Gopalji. Ring. What are the two levels of addressing in LAN? Now only we have done. Yes.
Port and IP. Okay.
Two level MAC and LLC. What is the function of CRC? Maybe you have heard this also from my from me. It is what it does: add delay, control access, detect errors, or encrypt data.
Yeah, detect errors.
Yes. Please, sir, Gopalji, can you write in the chat, because maybe others do that. So it's basically detect errors. Everyone, please participate in the chat. Okay. So cyclic redundancy check, which is used to detect the transmission errors in the frame. Which MAC protocol class allows collisions and then resolves them? We call these protocols some type of protocols, like when I'm calling about CSMA-CD or some protocols like ALOC, oral aloha, slotted aloha, CSMA-CD. So there are some type of protocols we usually call. Yes, absolutely. It's 14th C, random access protocols, we call them. Which of, because I'll tell you why random also, I'll come to them. This is just the basic MCQs. Which is the function, which of the following is the feature of Aloha? Aloha is the simplest scheme, I'll say. Token passing, obviously it's not, because we have done about that token passing. Now, is it centralized scheduling, transmit when ready, waiting for acknowledgement, preservation of time slots? Aditya, please write the question number with the MCQ option. Yes. Absolutely correct, Aditya. It's basically, it's very simple. It transmits when ready. So it uses a simple scheme whenever ready, and it retransmit whenever there is a collision or if the acknowledgement is not received. Now, what is the maximum channel utilization for pure Aloha? Now we have the MCQs based on Ethernet, CSMA, CD, Aloha, and all. So pure Aloha allows, I'll say this is also a good MCQ. Pure Aloha allows 18%, whereas okay, I'll maybe slotted Aloha, where there are time slots, where the line transmission, like here I told you, like pure Aloha is basically a very simple type of scheme. Whenever the packet is ready, we are transmitting, whereas in slotted Aloha, it is based on time slots, so that in order to reduce the collision, and its efficiency is actually doubled, so it's basically 36%. What does CS and CSMS stand for? Simple only. What about others? Yes, Aditya. Yes, it's carrier sense. What MAC protocol is used for Ethernet? Absolutely correct. What is minimum Ethernet frame size in bytes? I'll tell you, this is basically 64 to ensure the collision detection. 14 is header, then is for error control, and then I think 46 is for data. What happens when a collision is detected in Ethernet? Now only we have done. What will, like, now only I told you. Someone will inform about all the nodes about the collision. Absolutely correct, Naveen. A jam signal is transmitted. Which Ethernet supports 100 Mbps? Basically, it's 802.3. It defines fast Ethernet with 100 Mbps. Which topology does 10 base T Ethernet use?
10 base T ring.
T, it means twisted pair cabling. It's basically star, like it's twisted pair cabling. Basically, it is using star topology, I'll say, with hub at the center. What is back-off algorithm used in Ethernet?
Yeah, binary exponential.
It's basically binary exponential back-off. This only I'm working on. Like suppose I have client 1, client 2, or device 1 or device 2. They want to transmit, and suppose there is a they'll have a window from 0 to suppose 16. I'm just taking a toy example. Like they'll choose a random number. Suppose they choose that is why we call it as random access protocols. Suppose it chooses at 8 and it chooses, these are basically back of numbers. I'll come to that exponential part also. So suppose it chooses randomly as 7, and now they'll wait for eight timers, like 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then it will transmit. It will also wait, and obviously the probability here of choosing the same number is less, 1 by 16 only. And suppose they choose the same number, 8 and 8. Now there'll be collision because they'll transmit at the same time. Now, if they're transmitting at the same time, they'll double their window size, which means it was 0 to 16. These two are having collision, so they are doubling their window size. That is why we have exponential. Getting it? Basically, it is a way how to reduce the collision. We are having a window size. We are transmitting, taking a random number from that window, so that how many ticks we have to wait for.
ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి.
ఇన్స్టాల్ అయింది, ప్రింటర్ అది పేపర్ కదలట్లా.
You mute. Got the concept? Yes, everyone. Can someone write in the chat? You got this concept of binary exponential back off? Yes, come on.
Whenever a collision is detected, how much time we have to wait before retransmit?
Basically, this is a window, 0 to 16. Suppose we choose, like this client will also choose the other, like suppose 100 clients are there, or for example, suppose 5 clients are there. It will choose 5. Suppose it chooses 4, it chooses 8, it chooses 16. So they are choosing randomly a different number. Suppose 2 clients are choosing the same number, then only the collision will be there because they'll transmit at the same time. So you got this, how the collision is there? Or should I explain it again? Suppose this is the window 0 to 16. C2 is another client. They all have the same window size. 3 clients. It chooses 8, it chooses 8, it chooses 7. A random number from these 0 to 16, any number. So it will wait for 8 ticks. It will go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It will go 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So obviously C3 will transmit. But when C2 and C1 will transmit, there will be a collision. So when there is a collision, they'll double the window size, which means 0, 32. 0, 32. It will remain 0 to 16. Now the next time, it will choose any number from this, it will choose any number from this, it will choose any number from this. So again, like they'll wait for this much of time. Window size is basically doubled, but they'll randomly choose how much time they have to wait. Is it clear? Just I'm giving you the intuition behind this. Clear? We proceed. Gopalji, should we proceed or?
Yeah, proceed, madam. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay. In Ethernet, which field helps in synchronization before actual data transmission? Basically, preamble is the field. Before the actual transmission, there is a preamble which is sent. A field, basically a series of bits which is sent to the receiver, so that's to synchronize basically. The next set of MCQs we'll forward in the next class. Okay, I want to ask you, how was today's class, first of all?
It's great, madam. The way you explain for each MCQ and the related concept immediately, so that we can relate to it. I think, frankly, I tell you, for example, SDN, I only know conceptually, briefly, what SDN is all about. But all the MCQs, I think, out of those basic concept only in a different rephrasing of the questions, I think about 60% I could answer without even studying about SDN. I only know what SDN is. I read a small article, 1-2-page article, and based on that, I'm able to. Yeah. Only thing is, only in the examination, if they ask these commands and this field, is it a third field, fourth field, is maybe sometimes I have to remember. Otherwise, conceptual questions or objective type, multiple choice makes it comfortable for people.
What about others? How was the class today? Yes, Naveen, Aditya, yes. Fatima, you were having the questions.
Madam, today Ethernet, see, in my old time, 10 Mbps was the old. Then people said fast Ethernet, 100 Mbps came when I was working. But today we all talk about gigabit Ethernet, right? What is that standard? Gigabit Ethernet. Today we all talk about gigabit Ethernet, right? Current.
What you're saying? Gigabit Ethernet. Yes.
Yeah, gigabit, Giga.
Gigabit Ethernet.
Because fast Ethernet is still outdated.
That is there. That is there. Yes. I'll say gigabit Ethernet.
I keep receiving some articles from electronic design. So I don't know, but I just heard the term. So,
Yes. That is basically I'll say gigabit per second they're transmitting now. Like the packet is I'll say the high speed Ethernets today. What they are.
yeah, it's almost like fiber speeds going Ethernet going like fiber.
But they are using the twisted pair only, like
restrictive, local networks. Okay.
Obviously, the main I'll say the thing is the speed and all.
Yes. And all these standards are set by IEEE, right? Now Ethernet is concerned, I think.
Yes, absolutely. So, next session, whatever you're comfortable, we'll go for the MCQs or we'll go for the revision part, whatever we have completed. So, how was the session today? You want same type of MCQs to be like discussed in the next session, or you want a revision lecture in the Tuesday one on Tuesday?
Yeah, a revision would be okay. Just key concepts revising.
What about others? Can you write in the chat? Okay, so I'll mostly go to the revision part only, and some of the MCQs if you guys want. Thank you, class. Hope so. This was like you might have got the concept of this SDN and everything, the routing and all, control planes, data planes, SDN, everything with the today's class. Thank you so much, class. Let's meet on Tuesday. I hope so. Everyone should be present on Tuesday because it's the last class. Today also, I think very less students were present. Maybe because of the extra class and all. Maybe some might not. Some have not seen the mail or so. But I have last time also informed you about the class. Okay, then. Thank you, class.
Thank you, madam.